Just be facing the government.
That's okay. Hey, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Builder Bunker here in New York. So just some context, every Friday we have a get-together with Easy Labs, BNB Chain, projects building on BNB Chain. So today we welcome Soon. We welcome Joanna from Soon. Joanna's literally just got off the plane. I think she landed about 2-3 hours ago. So thank you for kind of making the effort coming here. You out in San Francisco?
Well, for just a conference at the time, yeah.
Cool.
But usually I'm based in New York.
Well, appreciate you kind of coming out here. So Joanna's going to talk about Soon, but just before we go into that, just a bit of context. Every Friday here at the Builder Bunker, we have projects building on BNB Chain who come and demo. So it's an opportunity for the community to get together, to try and build, give feedback to each other, and just kind of get together and chill. Also, this Builder Bunker, which is a BNB Chain and Yeezy Labs initiative, is for builders to come together who are building their projects. It's like a 10-week kind of sprint, and they kind of get support and incubation. So if you're interested in that, on our YouTube channel, there's like a link where you can find out more. I'm going to pass over to Joanna. So thank you. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Mohit. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to Easy Lab and BNB for giving me the opportunity. I've been coming here to co-work every now and then, and just felt like it's a home. To say this quite kind of emotionally, because I see kids coming over, and people are not judging you for that. So let me get started on why I'm here today. My name is Joanna, as I mentioned. I am the co-founder and CEO of Soon, and we built SVM BNB, which is as the first SVM roll up on top of BNB. And myself, I have a background in TriFi, about 13 years working as a foreign currency trader before officially onboarded into crypto full-time, first at Coinbase as a listing institutional manager, and moved over to work on like a couple Web3 projects, and until I moved over to OP Labs. So now, I founded Soon. So my team, we have about 25 people. Most of them are engineers. So we all have, 5 to 10 plus software development experience working in the blockchain space, building L1 consensus and high performance infra. So that's about us. So yeah, I wanted to give you some background on how we started and what kind of what motivated us to start Soon. So I don't know if you guys remember back in like 2022, 2023 time, there was a lot of debate between this monolithic design versus modular design in the crypto space. And it was, I came from the Ethereum space, so very much East Maxi. And I think after working in several ETH projects, I became a little, I would say, confused about the roadmap that the Ethereum Foundation was taking. And then, the one thing that really got me thinking is we really need user adoption. And at the time, it was very much all these different, EVML2s are getting launched on Ethereum, and then there was no differentiation. So that actually cultivated this grandfarmer culture. And that combined with this window opportunity that came from the Solana side, we have the, Toli tweeting about one OP cat. And then he actually not only just talked the talk, but also dedicated the resources towards the on the Anza team, right, to go towards the development of it. So we made some, comparison analysis among multiple VMs, between the Solana VM, the Move VM, like parallel EVM, and there was also, I think, Fuel was the other candidate. And it was very clear to us that Solana VM was going to be the end game. Just to put this in context, right? It's not only the technical performance, when you see the theoretical TPS, the production TPS, and block time and latency, all of that stats, but also just from the ecosystem standpoint, right? There is a lot of Rust developers. If you look at the Electric Capital's report, right, there's a lot more Rust developers that it's not even been brought into Web3 yet. And let alone, I mean, we see a lot more kind of users on Solana than Ethereum, even with less developers onboarded. So we wanted to, continue to accelerate the SVM adoption. So one thing that we did is, we looked into the technical innovations that we can do. And on the architectural design, we pretty closely follow the OP stack for the rollup design. And we've spent a lot of time on this like Soon SVM execution engine, where we introduced some of these innovations like decouple SVM. That's our way of basically decoupling the execution layer from the consensus layer. And for the very first time, we can actually, if you look at the Solana mainnet, like L1 today, right? So about 30 to 50% of the transactions are voting related. So you can actually turn that off, and that enhance the TPS, enhance the DA usage, and reduce the user cost, as well as introducing, better security models such as ZK fraud proof. And we also worked on, because we were able to decouple the client side of Solana, right? We were able to swap out of the normal client that they use, but using the newest design, which is the Fire Dancer design, and that got us to like 650K TPS on the DevNet. And later, we also worked with Anza team on the Merkleization, which basically introduced a Merkle tree proof, which does not exist in Solana, but it helps with as this Ethereum design, right? Essentially, it's getting settled back onto the EVM base layer. So it's really important to introduce Merkle tree proof, and we were able to basically not only develop this framework, but also upload the modifications to Anza's, the standard repo. And lastly, it's a horizontal scaling. So that's where you can further modularize the TPU, the transaction processing unit, across multiple machines to introduce even higher dynamic throughput. So I don't want to spend too much time on the technical details here, but the one thing I wanted to make sure is there may be some other teams that are trying to solve this problem with SVM, but we were the only team that pioneered the decouple SVM approach, and this was done in a way that essentially, as mentioned, really enhanced the user experience because the transaction cost is much lower. We were actually able to get to even lower deployment cost than Solana itself, about 60 times cheaper. And because also the decoupled approach, we can do 8 times faster on the block time. So that's where this come from. We're actually the most real-time blockchain in the market with the 50 milliseconds. So yeah, then I wanted to cover this overall kind of vision and where we see kind of the product design goes. So we have 4 core products that helps to vertically and horizontally stand Solana. The first one, as mentioned, we have these Soon mainnets that settles onto EVM base layers, right? So now we have 3 mainnets live, one on ETH L1, one on BNB, and one on Base. We also have actually a few other partners that have developed their own SVM rollups app chains for their AI or consumer use cases. So in total, yeah, we have 7 chains, and then that's where this Soon stack comes in. And then we have the InterSoon, that's basically our interoperability that's embedded on the native sequencer level. So just kind of tackling the issue that, frankly, as a ex-OP employee, I saw as a main problem there. And lastly, we just launched this consumer app that's a first-party app to really test out the underlying infrastructure and been basically building a copy trading platform that can bring in the Web2 users into Web3. So yeah, so currently we have 65 developer or dApps, even more developers working on Soon ecosystem, and I think about 40 of them are native to Soon. So the ecosystem flywheel starts to really come in, right, kick in when you have a lot of native too soon developers that we can redeploy onto these other, chains that we mentioned, like on top of BNB, for instance. So I have one more slide before I go to SVM. Yeah, so we are backed by the some of the best in the industry, including these VCs, and I think on the angel round we were able to get a lot of the partners that we call co-builders, who have come from the Solana space as well as some of these modular space. So we were able to ship very fast. Like the whole idea kind of started about a year and a half ago. And since then, we basically came out of stealth about a year ago. And then we built our first mainnet, the one on top of ETH that was launched in January. And the SVM BNB was launched in March. So TGE was in May. We've been kind of just hitting all the milestones. So getting to the meat of the presentation today, right? So SVM BNB, why did we build it and how did we build it, right? So first of all, I think SVM BNB has been the most undervalued experimentation in the space today, because it's more than just a tech arbitrage, right? As we were talking about, the idea is to now bring Solana or SVM builders to the BNB ecosystem. And we have already these 40 plus soon developers that can easily deploy onto the BNB ecosystem. And then that's not even including some of the best developers in Solana space. And then I think from a cultural standpoint, I always see that BNB as the home to, not only, the SVM and EVM, but also the home to like the East and the West. So I think from a cultural standpoint, we're really extending the cultural surface area of BNB. And, for the first time, we're seeing, the fragmentation is happening not only on the tech level, but on geography level, on language level. And we're bridging all of that gaps with SVM BNB. So some of the numbers I want to share since the launch, right? We have done a lot of traction. I think especially I have to bring up the memes. It was actually really interesting that one of the developers just launched its kind of like the TSC test token, right, in the first week. It was even launched before we had this launch pad, so he did it in the most kind of old school way, right, old-fashioned way, and just drop his CA and ask people to, respond to him. For those who responded, he would drop some of those Raoul tokens, and that took a life on its own and quickly blew up to like a 10 million market cap. It's actually, last time I checked, it was still at the 5 million market cap, even today. So yeah, I saw the tweet from CZ right after that, saying that he also agreed that this is a very interesting experimentation, and we've been seeing a lot of new memes getting dropped onto SVM BNB. So I will skip this. Just some of these highlights for the developers that are building on SVM BNB, including the blue chip, gaming company called Zen Arcade. Yeah, so Cobalt has been doing 51 million. Totally, they've been launching on multiple, soon chains. So they've been doing like 200 million, but more than like a fourth of that is currently on SVM BNB. And you can see the Raoul token still trading on top. Yeah, we've been really good partners. I think BNB Chain has been great in including all the ecosystem partners in their events. So we sponsored the last, I think the MVP demo day in Dubai, and our head of eco also gave a presentation there about the high performance infra. So lastly, I just wanted to call out the consumer app that we've been building, right? So this is really starting to take into this like flywheel effect. So the way that we thought about this is the high performance chain, what is the PMF for high performance chain today, right? Still very much in trading. So we want to double down on that and build this very easy onboarding tool to lower the barrier to entry, right? For folks who don't know how to use a perp trading DEX, they can just learn how to do this in 5 minutes or less. And the idea is to use the live trading, live streaming live streaming platform as an entry point. So we closely collaborated with like Twitch and we are really big in Korea. So there's another live streaming platform called Soup. So we work with those guys and basically get these like online gamers and streamers to come like, check out somebody else's like social trading position and then quickly do a one-click deployment without even leaving the live stream. So those features, right, like live streaming, like on-chain trading, copy trading within a click, these kind of things were not even possible when you think about, a EVM tech stack. So all of that is being built on top of the Soon stack, and that's how we were able to demonstrate the power of our, infra underneath. So we've been doing that for about a month, and so far we've seen like 200 plus million trading volume, and I think it really helps when the market is also going well, of course. But the one thing that I do see is a lot of the traders are these newbies, right, that don't have a ton of experience. So the next stage for this is we're going to introduce Vault. So not only people who don't have a lot of experience, but for people who zero trading experience now can even take advantage of the platform and basically start to really taste that like on-chain trading power. So that's the presentation. I would welcome any questions. For those of you who don't know Soon or wanted to learn more about us, please follow us on our Twitter. And thank you.
Does anyone have any questions? Diana, no? Were you going to say something?
No, I just followed.
No questions? Okay, cool.
Thank you, Mohit.
Well, I do like the part that not only bring in the developer, but also the culture.
Yeah.
It's not only about technology, but also about culture.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Solana has been matured based on like the West, right? I think the developers and users are still kind of gravitated towards this side of the hemisphere. And I think BNB is very much the dominant player in the East. So now you get access to both. And, I always see kind of BNB as the leader to take on both sides and show, there's a potential to collaborate on both. And that's why you guys have a New York office too, right? I mean, it all makes sense. The vision is aligned. Yeah.
Yeah, just as like every time when people like especially KOL trying to ask me how to compete with Solana, and then we got to send the question to the boss, and then he was like, "We don't compete. We're like building together." Really like this.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
So,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
So going forward, how are you envisioning growing your ecosystem? I was looking at your slide where you showed all of the dApps in your ecosystem, and I saw that you had a lot of consumer-facing dApps. Are you planning on growing that out and focusing on that, or focusing more on DeFi?
Yeah, I think, being a general purpose chain, we're now going to choose very narrowly, but just based on the traction so far, we've seen a lot more trading apps getting the traction. So that's why we built our own kind of trading app to double down on it. But I do think both, consumer trading or AI, right? These are the areas that can really take advantage of the high performance stack. Because you will expect to see a lot more high frequency transaction type of behavior. I call them micro transactions, so may not be like your big whale transaction with like a lot of high priority fees, but it actually is important, right? If we want to really compete with Web 2, right? Like we're talking about Visa processing their transaction about 60K a second, right? So 60K TPS is what we need to be getting to, right? But not that many, not that I know at all, any blockchain is getting that kind of performance metrics. So I think, it's a pretty high bar, but SVM is where it's the closest to that real world performance. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
I was wondering, what do you think is the most important part for a chain? Is it the speed or composability or culture or whatever? Like, what do you think is the most important thing for building an ecosystem? I mean, I don't have an answer.
Hard one.
I don't have an answer.
I want to ask you the same question. I think,
Especially for a chain.
yeah, I think I used to think it's all about the tech, coming from my background, but I now think it's more important to start with use case. Just goes back to the whole vision, right? Like why I started the project, because we didn't see enough user adoption in Ethereum after they embark on this L2, roadmap, and that was frustrating to me. So yeah, instead of like keep pushing the performance boundary and taking a long time, right? Every time you look at Ethereum's roadmap, it's like 5 year out. You really want to just hit your milestones as fast as you can and get onboarding as many people as you can, and really get out of your comfort zone, right? Like our own existing like Web3 bubble, and try to get to the Web2 users.
I think I do have my answers.
Yeah, please.
Maybe, yeah.
Please do share.
I think it depends on the target, like user persona. If you're looking for devs or you're looking for retails. For retails, I think it's more on user experience and the where is the place they can get money, like they can earn money. So this is for retail. But for dev, I think technology for sure is one thing. You can't block them from like the stacks we don't have or whatever. Like you block them from building the thing. There's one thing. And second, I think it's actually culture. It's like people bonding. I do saw a lot of devs that they tend to build on, whichever chain they start from. So they tend to have the habit to build on, and they can suffer even when this chain doesn't have the technology they have. But I think people and bonding and knowing that you will be keep building is very important, instead of like some ecosystem just taking advantage from their builders.
Yeah,
I'm thinking.
One more point
Okay.
about that, actually. Yeah, I think it's also important to think beyond just a pure infra player perspective, right? Like all the successful infra these days are taking a revenue approach, right? This is what I mean by like we build this first party dApp because now we have a new revenue stream and we can inject that revenue back into the ecosystem by buying the tokens, right, or burning tokens, using the revenue we earn on the consumer app side. So yeah, I think it's so important to kind of think about the use case. Like if you can't find the right builders to build it, then take on that first party dApp approach. Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? Okay, cool. I think,
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, Joanna. Thank you soon. Appreciate everyone kind of attending. We'll kind of reconvene same time next week, Friday. There's food, there's pizza, there's drinks. So yeah, please do help yourself, stay around, and hopefully people can kind of connect and continue the conversation. Okay, until next week. Thank you.